Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. I want to reach out, touch base with everybody today. It is Monday, March the 30th. I'm not going to do any lesson today. We're going to do a review of the 5.2. I'm just going to work one of the problems. I think I have problem number 61 up here. From the assignment that I gave you in the previous videos. It's on page 209. So I want to look at this problem with you guys, but first I want to give a quick update. We're receiving, every little bit stuff's changing. I know that the superintendent of education is meeting with the Etowah County superintendent's going to be meeting with the principals today, and we'll find out a little bit more information. Things are real fluid right now. It's kind of crazy. I get that. Even through Gadsden State, I'll be in contact with some of them. I know I'm going to try to reach out and touch base. So everybody's kind of in it's kind of a weird deal, because I know really online starts, I believe, April the 6th, but I'm just I'm keeping on with you guys just to make sure that we cover everything that has to be covered. So that's kind of why I'm still going on every day. I'm not getting crazy as far as the content. We basically just did this 5.2 all week last week. So I'm trying to do the same thing at least through midweek, and then we'll make adjustments as necessary and try to make sure that we all know what to expect, and get everything organized, okay? Because now, right now, I'm just dealing with your class, with you guys, but I think later on we're going to be dealing with all classes, so it'll change a little bit as far as that goes. You'll probably start seeing more of your teachers reaching out to you, and you having to do more lessons and everything of that way. So just be patient, hang in there, and we'll get through this, okay? All right, so I want to look at problem number 61, because on 61, I think it's a problem we look at and we say, okay, well that's pretty obvious here which side's the most difficult, okay? The right-hand side looks actually pretty basic. It's just 2 secant squared theta. So the right-hand side is pretty easy. So we're going to look at the left-hand side. And in doing the left-hand side, I'm adding 2 fractions, okay? You got to think of it that way. Is okay, that's just 2 fractions. So when we're adding 2 fractions, we need to find a common denominator. And in this case, when finding a common denominator, you can always find a common denominator. If one of them is 1 over 3 and the other one's 1 over 4, if you say 3 times 4, that's always a common denominator. It may not be the least common denominator, but it's a common denominator. So that's what we're going to do here. So the common denominator between these problems is the product of them. So it's going to be 1 minus sine theta times 1 plus sine theta. Okay? So we're going to change that side to that, plus we're going to change this side to that. Okay? All right? So that's my common denominator. All right, so we're going to change this one to have this common denominator. So it's already got the 1 minus sine theta. It's got it, so it's 1 plus sine theta times 1. So it's just 1 plus sine theta. Okay? Over here, this one already has the 1 plus sine theta, so it's 1 minus sine theta times 1. So that's 1 minus sine theta. All right, now look at what happens here. Okay, so this again is an example of a problem that looks really, really difficult at first. Seems really tough, seems really difficult, but then once we kind of get into it, it's not that bad. So I'm going to write down the common denominator once. Write it down one time, okay? Okay, and then I'm going to add the stuff up top. So that's 1 plus sine theta plus 1 minus sine theta. Okay? So now we can kind of see, okay, I've got a positive sine theta and a negative sine theta. So up top, those cancel. Okay? So the only thing left I got up top is 2 over, and then I've got this in the denominator. Okay? Now, when I've got that in the denominator, as you can see, you're like, okay, hey, I see the 2 now. Okay? See the 2 from the right-hand side. I see where that's going. Now, in the denominator, we need to fold that. Okay? And when we fold that, you're going to see what we get. Okay? It's going to work out nicely for us. When I fold the denominator, and I'm sorry, I hope everybody can see. When I fold the denominator, it's 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times positive sign is positive sign. Negative sign times 1 is negative sign. Negative sign times positive sign is negative sign squared theta. Okay? So now, I'm going to pull this up to the top, and look what happens. Okay? Still have the 2 on top, but what happens, I've got the 1, it's going to stay. I got positive sign, negative sign, those cancel. So it's minus sine theta. Minus sine squared theta. Okay? So I have that 2 over 1 minus sine squared theta. All right. Remember. We can manipulate, and I've talked about this a bunch. You have got to learn this one, okay? We can manipulate the Pythagorean identity, sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. We can manipulate it. Move the sign over. When the sign crosses the equal sign, it becomes negative. Cosine, move it over, okay? So this is a manipulation. 1 minus sine squared theta is a manipulation of sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1, right? You have got to understand that, okay? You have got to understand that. So I'm going to show it. I'll show it again, and I'm going to write it right here. If I've got, and this is off to the side, so to speak, if I've got sine theta plus cosine squared theta, that's equal to 1. If I move this sign over, that is now cosine squared theta is equal to 1 minus sine squared theta. So this and this are equal to, that's equal to cosine squared theta. So that is cosine squared theta. Okay? So, apologize, this board, I've got to get a new board. I'll get that better. So this is 2 over cosine squared theta. If cosine squared theta is in the denominator, when we move it, if we move it to the numerator, it's secant squared. Okay? So 2 over cosine squared theta is the same as 2 secant squared theta. Okay? You have got to think of it like that. Okay? You've got to be able to see that. So let me show you. Okay? There's a couple different ways. I mean, we can look at this a couple different ways. I apologize. I didn't. I don't want to watch me erase a board here, okay? But we've got, this is the same thing, okay? Look, that's the same thing as 2 over 1 times 1 over cosine squared, right? I just rewrote that. Same thing, okay? If you multiply straight across, you get 2. Multiply straight across, you get that. 1 over cosine squared is secant squared. So I have just verified the right-hand side and the left-hand side. Okay, I've just shown that those are equivalent. Therefore, I verified it. Okay, so please again make sure that you're working on these. Okay, now's the time. We're off spring break, so to speak, or not so to speak. We are. So we're out of spring break, so now we got to get back to work. So please make sure that you take your time and you work through this 5-2 lesson, okay? I know I gave you the problems. I gave those to you on the last video, but it's 45 through 65 odd, I believe, okay? Page 209, okay? Page 209. 45 through 65 odd. I didn't just, it's about 20 problems. I'm sorry, it's about 10 problems. So make sure, look through those. Make sure you can do it. Okay, you got to do those problems. I'm going to move on. I didn't work all the examples in the lesson. It was one where we verify both sides, and that's no issue. I've just made the decision to kind of move past that one. We're still doing the same thing, but don't worry about that. So I think I worked 4 example problems. Came back and did this quick review. So please make sure page 209, 45 through 65 odd. Make sure you do those 10, 11 problems, whatever that is. And like I said, all this work you're doing, keep it. Okay, don't throw it away. Don't lose it. Don't misplace it. Don't do any of that. Keep it. Okay, and we'll get something squared out as far as how we submit it, how we turn stuff in, how we get graded, all that good stuff. Okay. All right, so tomorrow I'll probably move on to 5-3. And like I said, it's kind of a work at your own pace type deal, but I want to try to keep pumping these videos out so everybody kind of knows what to do and that you're aware of what's going on. So I hope everybody has a great day, and see you all next time.